Welcome to the Skyforest Podcast. This is the story of the Skyforest 3-star freighter sent out on a routine mission. But that routine mission contained a few nasty surprises, or actually, several thousand of them. Our cast includes the voices of Lindsay Nelson, Robert Rice, Fabian Vasquez, Cecily Knobler, Nate Leiper, and Dave Piranelli. Written, directed, and edited by Dave Piranelli in Hollywood, California. If you enjoy the show, please leave us a 5-star review and ask your friends to come have a listen. Thanks for your support. In Episode 4, the team tackles the oxygen collection issue on the roof, but finds new problems on the way back down. They finally meet their enemy in person, and an old friend who isn't really a friend anymore. All this and more in Episode 4 of the Skyforest Podcast, coming up next. Thanks for listening. Let's join them. On the edge of the Skyforest biodome, the elevator car shoots up the yellow tube to the roof. We can just make out Riley and Palace inside as it whips by. They step out into the small room we saw before from the cameras. Oxygen comes from the purifiers on the floor and should be feeding into the collector outputs. Instead, it's being allowed to vent out into the planet's atmosphere from the wedged open valves. Palace and Riley cautiously make their way in. Palace keeps aiming his gun at various things, nervous. A chair is jammed into one of the vents to keep it open. Riley walks up and yanks it out.
Hold on, you don't know if it's safe.
The valve slowly closes. Airflow in the room speeds up. Riley carefully sets the chair down, smiles at Palace.
It's either safe or it isn't.
What does that glad-handing colloquialism even mean? Before Palace can complain again, Riley yanks the beam out of the other opening. Airflow in the room switches to upward, all going to the collectors.
You're reckless.
Mission accomplished. You're welcome. Let's go.
Riley motions to the elevator door. It's still open, waiting.
He's cracking up, you know. This is too much for a bus driver, Captain.
We aren't going to be friends.
It's the dad thing.
Palace jerks his gun toward the elevator. We all have some sort of daddy issues. Right now the captain needs everyone on his team. Let's just get back with the others. Once they're both in, the door closes. As the car begins its descent, Riley sees something. A small silver and white butterfly, glistening like a jewel. It lands on the outside of the door, clinging briefly, then vanishes in an instant.
Did you see that? One of those butterflies. I think it was looking at me.
You always think that.
In the oxygen control room, Bosco and Palace do a high five. The oxygen pressure gauge is finally off zero and slowly inching back up. The mission was a success. Good job, Mr. Palace. Now you and I are going to go back down that hole and find Bickle. He wasn't on Sky 1.
Okay, but I've known the man a few years. That wasn't him on the comms.
Then who was it? Palace sucks air through his teeth, shrugs. We're going to figure it all out by finding Sergeant Bickle.
We need more O2 canisters for our suits.
Riley pulls an empty canister from her suit and puts in one of the last full ones.
Those things? There's like 1 million of them down on the dock.
Everyone looks at her.
From this base?
No, they came in on the Skyforest 1, packaged on Earth.
So they're safe.
Shouldn't you be telling me this, Mr. Rama? Mr. Cargo Expert? Rama gives Riley a dirty look.
Well, I was just about to tell you, after I mentioned the jetpacks.
Jetpacks?
Archaeological survey packs from the same load. Saw 'em on the manifest.
Show me.
I know where they are. Follow me.
Bosco turns to go. Rama stops him.
I need the base command codes entered so I can access the remaining supplies.
Sure, but I'm curious why the base ordered archaeological survey packs. Bosco types at a terminal. Here you go. Rama has the faintest hint of a smile. After everyone leaves, Rama opens one of the old ASCII terminals. He looks around again, alone. He starts typing on the dusty keys. Hey, the cursor blinks. Then, can you talk now? Rama responds. No security guy anymore. Sparkler's got him. Like everyone else, I guess. What happened?
There's a long time watching that blinking cursor. Rama impatiently paces, taps his fingers, finally kicks a case on the floor and is about to type some more when the answer comes. The lightning got out of the bottle. The ambiguity makes Rama even angrier. He rage types. Duh, any moron can figure that out. The cursor blinks as Rama waits. Guess you're in that group. What and how and why don't matter now. What's next? Rama glances around nervously, types. I have customers waiting back home at the palace. No wait this time. I need final payment. Rama cracks his knuckles, thinks. Get it to the usual spot, I'll be there at 1900. Rama's ready to end the convo. He starts to close the keyboard, but more text appears. What happens to me? Rama finally smiles and types. I don't care. He closes the keyboard. Hears a beep as apparently another message has appeared. He tries to walk away, but gives in and checks out the screen. Do you blow the place up, or are you paying me to do it? Rama bangs his fist on the counter, kicks something over, then types. The evidence is against both of us, genius. It's in your best interest to blow this place up after we leave. Rama pants. He's furious. He waits. The answer floors him. Duh. But what if you never leave? Rama loses it, smashes the console with a steel bar. Finally triumphant, he starts to walk away.
Hey, asshole.
Unexpectedly, a video projection pops up. We meet Leo, the guy Rama has been sending all those chummy messages to.
Leo's a younger guy, wearing some pirate-looking garb. He's spent way too long by himself in dark places.
What are you? I mean, who are you? I don't know
You can drop the horse shit. This is quadruple encrypted. By the time anyone gets a look, you and I will either be very dead or very rich and unfindable. Cameras are spooling footage from an hour ago.
Rama looks at some displays. As promised, the room feeds show the space as empty.
Not sure who,
Okie doke, Rama McLaren of Hampstead, Maine. Oh wait, that isn't the name he used with the company. My mistake.
You bastard. You can't do that.
Oh, now you remember me.
Why do this?
Let's face it, we had a nice thing going, but it's off the tracks, and not getting back on.
Not sure what you mean.
Okie doke, scaredy cat. Been watching you guys on the cams. Fun times.
Those cameras are supposed to be on loop, no output.
I know, and there are no copies anywhere on that base.
Far away, on the other side of the planet, Leo sits at the geothermal base. Dark inside and out, forever. He sits by a loaded electric pallet as he chats with an image of Rama. In his hands, a small memory chip.
Huh. Sounds like you're telling me that there might be a copy of the video log somewhere.
There could be. Lots of interesting records on it. Possibly.
He flips the memory chip up and catches it so Rama can see it.
Asshole.
You mentioned that. And I should mention that while I was able to erase 99.99% of all records on the base, there may be some logs that didn't get erased. Offline ones.
What?
The 3 handheld terminals. They weren't connected when I put the master erase through.
Once the base is blown up, what difference will it make?
None.
Any more of your screw-ups I need to fix?
Point figures all you like. If those logs get out, they'll remember our names for 100 years. Or more. All those dead people.
The remaining crew gather at the edge of the hole. A shipping container packed with jetpacks sits open. Vasco and Pallas stand by the sinkhole, packs strapped to their backs.
Any word from that drone? Sorry, still MIA. I know. We need to get down there.
Vasco pages through instructions on his wrist viewer.
Are you sure you can use that?
He doesn't have time to read them all.
I'll figure it out. I'm getting Bickle back. I hope you do.
Vasco snorts.
You probably hope I don't. He never liked you.
Rama smiles wryly.
Sure?
Vasco snorts again.
Doc Alyssa, have there been any updates from Bickle's bio-readouts?
Doc Alyssa shakes her head sadly.
Nothing.
Pallas tests the controls on his jetpack. Dust blasts around him as he slowly lifts off from the floor. He eases the controls back and forth.
Easy, easy.
He maneuvers above the hole and slowly descends. Vasco fires his jetpack up and follows Pallas down. Pallas and Vasco hover just over the empty floor. Vasco looks around. still remembering those nervous moments before. He points to a large opening in the cave wall. They lightly finger their controls and slowly fly in. Vasco shines his light around, nervous. The bright lights shine down the dark hole. Something sparkles deep in the darkness.
Pallas and Vasco ease down 60 meters and hover just over the empty floor. Vasco points to a large opening in the cave wall. They lightly finger the controls and slowly fly in. Their bright lights shine down the dark hole. Something sparkles deep in the darkness whenever they shine their flashlights down there. In there. You, sure we're safe? Actually, just the opposite. But I owe Bickle one. Once inside the tunnel, they settle to the floor and start walking. Rama said before you were, rattled, surprised. Well, he said scared. Something's down here, and it's not Bickle. You saw something? I heard something. What did you hear? A rustling, a fluttering, I don't know. Stay frosty and let's talk about something else. Well, I heard your dad ran that Europa base. The one where everyone died? I'll bet you're a blast at parties. Sir? So, Mr. Pallas, do you have any massive tragedies in your past? Well, none. At least not yet. Yeah, my dad ran it. Yes, everyone died. And the part almost nobody knows is, I watched the whole thing happen from a space bus. I was less than a kilometer away and watched it all happen. Wow, I'm sorry, sir. Watched dozens of crew members fly out into space and give up a surprised last breath. Saw the terror on their faces as the last hints of water vapor escaped their frozen lungs. Okay, we don't have to, and the kicker is, I saw it coming. I saw the seals failing, and my child brain didn't get it. If things had gone just a little differently, I could have been the one to save them all. I tried to tell him, tried to tell them, but as a child, who would believe you? This time we win. This time we save everyone who's left. I owe it. Pallas stops walking, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of Vasco's admissions. He shines his light into the darkness. There's that shimmer again. Pallas and Vasco follow the tunnel. It's 4 meters across. Plenty of maneuvering space. Their lights keep finding that flutter of shimmering silver in the distance. As they approach, they notice something on the floor. It's a belt buckle. Pallas picks it up, turns it over in his hands. Looks like they were exploring these tunnels. I don't think that's what that signifies. He shines his light further up, a crumpled mass on the floor. They walk up to find a pile of shredded uniforms, soaked red with blood. Well, how did this happen? Something bad is down here. Vasco pulls his gun out, clips his light to the barrel, and looks around. Pallas follows suit. Sir, there's another pile over there, with that silver cloud over it. Come on, take off the safety. Pallas slides the safety off his gun. They advance slowly. The moving cloud pulses and swirls above the mass on the cave floor. The cloud begins moving as a single entity as they approach, all working together. Hold it. Vasco stops 2 meters away. He and Pallas watch quietly, not sure what they're looking at. Those pretty butterflies, lots of them. They swarm over a lumpy shape on the floor, and they won't be shooed away. That's one of our uniforms. Is it him? They struggle to see. Can't be. It's barely a meter long. Pallas pulls a cutting torch from his belt, lights it, brings it near the butterfly. He bursts into flame. The rest react together, all connected. They zoom away in formation, zip around the men a few times, then vanish into a hole in the wall. Vasco and Pallas stand in shock and examine the pulpy mess on the floor. It's Bickle. No, that can't be him. Not all of him, anyway. At the sound of voices, the partial remains move, jerk around on the floor. They're stunned that he's still alive. A creaky voice emerges.
All indicators green. Ship's secure.
They shine their lights on him. All limbs are gone, eaten away. The remaining stubs twist nonsensically in the air.
Sergeant?
Secure your station, soldier.
They're too disgusted and shocked to speak. His face is gone, reduced to bone and tendons, chewed away by the myriad worms crawling around his remaining flesh. As they watch, tiny drops of blood appear at the edge of the flesh. The worms sop it up, squiggling happily.
They kept him alive, just barely. If you can call it that. Let's get him to Doc Alyssa.
Pallas digs into his pack, gets out a med kit. They both look at what's left of Bickle. The small med kit is thoroughly inadequate. Pallas pulls out a roll of bandages. As he leans down, a massive swarm of butterflies return. Bosco and Pallas duck to avoid them. They can't see each other or anything while the silvery cloud engulfs them. Bosco points to the torch.
Fire that thing up again, now.
Pallas lights the torch. The swarm lifts what's left of Bickle, carries him away. In seconds, the butterflies and Bickle are gone.
I guess we know what happened to the missing personnel.
They stare at the stained spot on the floor where Bickle was. Silence.
Thoughts? They're screwed.
Bosco leans down, takes out some tweezers. He finds 2 partially burned butterflies and puts them in a small clear bag.
Let's get out of here before they come back. Thanks for listening to our tale of intrigue on the Skyforest Podcast. Next time, in Episode 5, the team gets their enemy under the microscope, where Doc Alyssa makes some interesting discoveries. But will it be enough to stop them? And they soon realize the extreme threat the Death Weevils pose to Earth, imperiling the Skyforest 3 from ever returning home. And at last we get to experience what happened on the abandoned Skyforest base before the Skyforest 3 arrived. Next time on Episode 5 of the Skyforest Podcast. Thanks for listening.